Guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and I'm here just to bring you, I heard like a quick message for December 2023. It's the end of this year. I do believe as well there's a Mercury Retrograde coming. I'm not exactly sure the date of that. We might even be in it. So if you've been feeling things come up from the past or rethinking situations or coming to new understandings, know that this is planetary. Okay, Mercury is, the planet where basically we're ruling our mind, right? And our thoughts. So it's going to be really important. What I heard is to be very aware of these, okay? So that we know that we create a reality with our thoughts and that our intentions are setting this reality. So if we are being, the word I'm hearing is plagued, or if we're having negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts, negative self-talk, things like this, we need to be very aware and say, okay, I see what's happening here, and we're going to, what I heard, like, it's flip the script, okay? We're going to right away say, no, that's not my thoughts, and I'm not sure why I'm thinking that, and we're going to replace it with something a lot more positive, and what I also heard is constructive, okay? So before I get into this reading, I just want to take a moment to thank all of you guys for being here, for all my subscribers. I love, love, love you from the bottom of my heart, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you feel like this resonates and you'd like to see more, please hit subscribe. Join this journey with me. I'd love to have you along the ride. And I'm also just going to take a moment to call in my team of light, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, any of my spirit guides that would be here for the highest good of everyone, as well as any of your spirit guides as well that would be here for the highest good of everyone watching. No second-rate messages today. And guys, no matter what messages come through, what comes out of my mouth or anything like that, use your discernment, use your empowered vulnerability. How does this feel to you? How does it resonate for you? And if it's something that, like I said, you're sitting with something heavy or whatnot, how can we use this information to go forward in a positive way in our day-to-day lives? So there's something else before I get into these cards. I have a few decks. I have the Work Your Light Oracle. We're going to get a little bit of, I'm feeling like this now, but I also have the Shaman's Oracle. I love this deck. And I was really guided today to bring the Wildwood Tarot in. So let's see what messages we first off have. Probably spiritual advice going forward for December, please. What messages do you have for spiritual advice going forward in December? And what came out is the Age of Light. And it says you've been training for this for lifetimes. So especially I heard if you've been going through more of a difficult time, or if you feel like this ascension process. Again, my cat just jumped on the table, sorry. But get off the table, girl. Come on. Get down. But just to know that this is a process and that you have been training for this. So for many of us, we have had some pretty, what I heard is tough. Some of you may feel like your life has, the words I heard were shitty, okay? Not saying you have a shitty life, but if we've had shitty situations or things that we perceive to be negative in our worlds, there's a reason for this. I feel like, especially if it's happened through much of your life. Come on, girl, get down. This is my girl, Willow. She'd just like to say hi, I guess. But we've been training for this. There's reasons why a lot of us have had, come on, girl, difficult childhoods, difficult situations in our world, difficult things that we've had to overcome. These are learning lessons and stepping blocks along the way. And this is kind of like some things our soul, I'm going to take this one too fell, but that our soul decided before we just entered into this world, we needed to have experiences, we needed to have understandings of maybe things that weren't so pleasant, that weren't so kind, so that we could shape and mold ourselves into the person that's going to help break that. What I heard is, for some of us, this is generational trauma, generational narratives. This is societal narratives on certain things that we're meant to break the mold, and we're meant to help people with this. So I have the Spirit of Wisdom and the Hunter of Vision that have come out. These are, I love them. They're like cave drawings, right? And with this Hunter of Vision, going after that arrow, this hunter is not afraid. They know that they're being depended on, right? Because they're going out in search for, but if they don't bring this back, then there's a hungry village full of people who may not have food. This is also asking you in this Age of Light to be unafraid of where your vision and where your passion lies, and to go after it with the spirit of that hunter who's just seen the prey, has just seen the animal that is going to help nourish and feed. I also feel like this spirit of wisdom as well. Many of you are being asked to use the wisdom that you have accumulated over this years, this wealth of knowledge that you hold, and to hold it strong and to hold your vision, because again, you have come here for a very, very important reason, and this is something that it's your job, it's who you are, it's what you're meant to do. And I heard like it's only you who could do it. There is also what I heard is many of us in our soul groups were dispersed throughout the planet for a reason, in certain geographical locations, in certain places. We are here because our energy signature is needed. So while I'm hearing we may not be the only, it's the example, right? I'm not the only tarot reader. I'm not the only, there are so many readers on YouTube, right? There are so many people who use their intuition in this way. But this is where Spirit's kind of coming through, but this is for anyone who clicks with me, right? I'm here for a reason too, in my geographical location, to connect with you guys too. And if it's resonating for you, they're like soul tribe, okay? The Hunter of Strength is here as well. This is the one I want to read to you. The messages in these are amazing. I opened right up to the Dancer of Frustration and the Dancer of Lies as well. So for some of you, I heard like something like skirting the issue. Let's see what we have here. Hunter of Strength. It's so... Hunter of Strength. I opened up to the Hunter of Vision too. And some of the key words in there was your insight, foresight, hindsight, clarity of vision, the gift of recognition, wise decision making, choosing well, recognizing deeper levels, interpreting mysteries. And I really do think this has a lot, again, to do with this Mercury retrograde that's coming, this time of light that's coming, as well as we are entering into kind of that winter solstice. If you follow, there's so many different holidays right now, right? Hanukkah. If you follow Christian religion, or even if you don't really follow it, but you celebrate Christmas as well, this is this coming of Christ consciousness, the coming of the light. It's a very, very important time, because there's also some of the darkest times of the year up until the 21st, right? We are experiencing the darkest moments. I'm getting really emotional out of nowhere too. So for some of you, this could be something that it's also reminding you, if you're getting triggered, or if you're getting emotional by things, maybe it's for you, because there might be something here that's for me as well, and that's why it's bringing an emotional reaction. But this is also where you are being asked to pay real attention to those emotional reactions, because they're gifts from Spirit. They're gifts. There's a reason why you are being triggered. There's a reason why you are feeling certain ways, and Spirit's like, sorry about that, it's gross, but you're being asked anyway to follow this vision. So we're going into the Hunter of Strength, and I'm going to read you, just to take a look at the card if you want while I read the words on the page. It says, I am the Hunter of Strength. I seek the shapes and patterns of energy to find the name and nature of the strength you need. Wherever you stand in the journey of life, you require strength to empower you. Soul strength and heart strength, bone strength, emotional strength are all part of the pattern you walk. At your side, I guide you toward all that you need and ensure that you do not overreach your native power. Okay. It says, here a hunter is reaching down to tap into the strength of a great animal. We too can draw strength from many places, from the inner worlds, from our family and loved ones, from the earth and the creatures with whom we share it. The Hunter of Strength seeks out the best sources of the strength we need, while at the same time helping us to understand the nature of that strength, which is often spiritual rather than physical. Strength is a natural part of our daily lives. To make progress, we need to acknowledge where best to find it and how to recover it if it ever should be lost. So it also says here, some interpretations is force of will, strength to accomplish your dreams, recognition of your own power and that of others, recognizing weakness, drawing in the energies that surround you. And I want to also say, like, this, he's talking about, he's reaching into this animal. For some of us, this is a power animal totem. This also, what I heard is, if you're eat meat, this is reaching down into that strength, because we are literally taking the flesh of, an animal that is giving us strength to nourish us throughout the day, right? So there's also what I heard is, and again, I'm getting emotional for this, giving thanks to that animal for the nourishment they provide to your bodies. So I just want to check the bottom of the deck, and it's the spirit of healing. As well, for some of you, what I heard is maybe healing some, I heard family wounds, but this could also be like relationship with food and things like that as well. But to know the bottom of the deck here is Lemuria. We're creating heaven on earth, and that it is happening with this age of light. Many of you may have soul ties or past life ties to Lemuria, and this could be something where for you as well it's been kind of a difficult ride, because you're used to a place that felt like heaven, right? That is loving and coming down to earth, where we have a lot of really dense energies and a lot of really dense lessons to learn. This is something that is a soul shock. Okay, so Spirit's saying again, with this hunter of vision and this hunter of strength, go after what you need to do, and wherever you need to find that strength, do it. For some of you, this is physical. Some of you, it's, like they said, mostly mental, emotional, spiritual. But we all know that there's these places where we think we can't go on, we cannot push further anymore, and somehow we muster up that strength to do it. For some of you, and this is just, it's myself as well, because I've been doing a lot of weight training lately, just building my own strength. And there is an importance in our physical body and our physical strength to be able to carry out our mission in this world. So this is also, I feel like healing the places, destruction was under that, spirit of destruction and spirit of nurture. There's a lot of spirit with the shaman of tradition under there. I feel like this is going to really be a time, especially with this Mercury retrograde, of you destroying patterns that no longer serve you. If we know that, like, they're giving me, like, willpower, like cookies and shit like that, okay, even, or things that you like to eat. If you know that, like, they're telling me to, like, if we have an autoimmune disease, or if we have something like this, and we know that something we eat or something we do is kind of detrimental to our health, or is taking away our strength, this is something we need to go, okay, it's time to purge this. It's really time to see and be aware of, how does it make me feel when I eat this stuff? This is also about people and energy. How does it make me feel when I'm around this person or around this energy? You also have the Lovers in reverse. I'm going to come right back. I need to blow my nose, guys, but we'll come back and discuss this. Just a second. Okay, I'm back. I apologize, but less nasally and less snotty. So there is a situation as well. This could have to do with romantic love. And I feel like what I heard is your choices. You may need to make a choice. And this may be where you're needing to find that strength. And we have the Nine of Stones with tradition. For some of you, this definitely could be marriage. Tell me a little bit more about the Nine of Stones, please. Thank you. Three of Vessels in reverse. So this is the Three of Cups in reverse. We have the Queen of Arrows with the Swan, and the Knight of Bows with the Fox. Okay, so what I heard here, now this could be a Gemini, okay, because we have the Lovers, and we also have the Queen of Arrows, the Queen of Swords, so you could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. However, more so, and this could be definitely like a air sign woman in your life, but I feel like more this is our internal process, okay, that we are being asked to, the words I heard were, move swiftly with some of the visions and ideas and inspiration that we've got, because they're worthy and they're worthwhile and they're great. For some of you, this is following a new passion. For some of you, this is coming to an understanding that when you're starting to see things more clearly, not to ignore those little niggles is what I heard as well. With this Knight of Bows and this Fox, again, they are swift moving, fast moving energy and passionate, very, very passionate. There is, with this Lovers and with this Three of Vessels, this is joy, and it's in reverse. And it may be that for some of you, and this is again not all of you, but if you have been kind of stuck in, for some of you this is unhappy marriages, okay, not everyone, but I'm reading what I hear. Or we've been stuck in stagnancy and tradition. Like, they're giving me an example, okay, of especially older times where things may not have been working out. There may be a lot of strife and struggle in the relationship, and it is just really, really not healthy for one or both to be in it. But because tradition says that marriage is forever, right, that it's something that we, or whoever, choose to stay in, even though it's not bringing us joy and it's not a loving situation. There is also, with this Nine of Stones, importance to learning from our ancestors and the way that things have been done before. I'm not saying like to run out and leave your relationships. That is not what I'm saying. But I do feel like definitely some communication needs to be happening, and it needs to be, for some of you, this fire brought back in. I'm going to get more clarification on this. Spirit, why this Lovers, the Forest Lovers, and the Three of Joy? Why in reverse? Some of you as well, for some of you, again, it's not all, but someone may be so focused on marriage or whatnot that they're not looking at whether or not this is the partner, right, that you really need to be with. Is this the person that brings out your visions? Is this the person that brings out the joy? Is this person, they're giving me reflecting you. For some of us, this is because our karmic partners and our karmic patterns, this is meant to teach us a lot, right? These relationships, these soulmate energies, they are really, really meant to teach us and to bring healing to our worlds, to bring growth to our worlds. You have the Green Woman, which is the Empress as well. For some of you, this is fertility, right? What they're giving me is this life is what you make of it. Keep showing me the yoni power of this Green Woman down here as well in the birth canal. And we have the Knight of Vessels with the eel. So I'm going to read to you this Nine of Stones as well, just a part of it. It says, whenever we reach back into antiquity with sincere reverence and respect, seeking insight and wisdom, we commune directly with both the esoteric and practical memory of the human species. The myths, rituals, and traditions of past tribes remain imprinted on the human psyche. Whether you believe this to be the effect of morphic resonance or the spiritual echo of past lives dedicated to the reverence of the underworld, the mystical traditions have a real purpose and meaning that you can draw upon. Even in our frantic modern world, through the study of ancient mystical traditions, we see how closely linked we are with the past and how little we have changed as a species. We are still driven by the primal needs and fears that faced the first humans. We still look at the sky at night with wonder and awe. We still look at the ocean and feel the pull of the unknown. To reach back and invite past traditions to enlighten and enrich our life is to draw on ancient strengths that are freely available to those seeking wisdom, sustenance, and consolation. For some of you as well, I feel like I'm trying to figure out how to get this out. Okay, for some of us, this is looking at our parents' relationships and the relationships that we've seen come for us. These relationships are very, very formative in helping us to form and understand, and even maybe some of your early relationships, what love looks like, what partnership looks like, what a relationship is. And some of us definitely are holding on to some past life trauma in terms of relationship. It could even be with this particular soulmate, right? With the Six of Cups energy. I'm going to flip them over, okay? Instead, because like I said at the beginning, we are going to choose our realities. We don't want the Lovers in reverse with Joy in reverse. We don't want this. This Lovers in the reverse to me is like a codependency, and this not knowing how to get out and not knowing how to make a choice that's going to be right for us and to bring us joy. So whatever it is that we need to look into deeper, this is going to be asking us, well, what would I feel like I need to have joy? Again, like I said, with looking into past traditions, past lives, and again, even the lives of our ancestors, there is real importance, like I said, too, if we're coming up with new understandings and we're seeing things clearly, we need to move swiftly. This could even be such things as, even within your relationships now or in the past, realizing, some of the karmic patterns or some of the situations. So they're giving me another example. I'm just going to share it. But it basically about sometimes if we've had a string of bad relationships, we look at it and we just focus on those relationships and we think, oh, those individuals, right? Each individual. And it could be that each individual done us dirty some way, or each individual did us bad, or, that there was a common thread. And a lot of times we look at that and that's just them. But the thing is, there is a pattern within this that has attracted us to those relationships. And this could be, like I said, you look at your family relations, or you look at your ancestors, you look at what love looked like there. And especially in some of your younger years, in the formative years, you can see. I was definitely educated by the belief that this is normal within love. Okay? And I think as well, and this, I'm going to say it because it's what I heard, but for some of you, if you grew up in a home where, your parents or whoever the parental figures were, if you're seeing a loveless marriage, or if you're seeing an unfair division of labor within the house, if you're seeing a lack of emotional support, if you're seeing abuse, we can go on and we can go on. And even though we may look at these relationships and it may be very clear to us, especially if we witness like domestic abuse, that's not okay. But it's what they're giving me a pretty big message here, okay? So if it's not yours, I apologize. Just click off with love. But we may see that one big thing and go, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to change that in the relationships I have. And then we don't realize, though, that there was so much unhealthy that we've also seen and that has also shaped and molded us. And I think that especially this Mercury retrograde coming back with this age of love here and this Lemuria, we are being asked to take a really critical look at our relationships, at our love, at what has helped to form us and bring this wisdom into a new vision. And again, with this Hunter of Strength, for some of us, if we're seeing that we've held on to unhealthy patterns, it is not easy. Right? Being a pattern breaker, it's not easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. We wouldn't have generational trauma. We wouldn't have generational, I want to say them curses, but that is a trauma. This is the generational trauma, the cycles of violence. And even, I want to go so far, and I'm hearing like women's rights and things like that. It's not just women, okay? But this is what I'm hearing, okay? There's been so much, and misogyny, that's the word. Okay, if you've grown up in a house or a family that is misogynistic as well, this goes both ways on, it's educated us. So this could be even if you are a woman and you have encountered many relationships where you were not valued. I want to say, like, sometimes people can get really horrible about this situation and be like, I can't believe you would allow that to happen. But at the same time, where were you taught otherwise that you were worthy of something more than this? It's heavy. It's getting heavy, okay? So this is where this is really important as well, to keep a look on your relationships and on that of past in your families and go, was there something here that has educated me? And when I'm looking at it through a new clear lens, right, what am I going to do about it? So a lot of this, again, this hunter of vision to me, this spirit of healing, what does it mean? With the spirit of destruction was under it, right? What does it mean? It means to break that fucking mold apart. You're not going to mold anybody else into that. Okay, so with this green woman, I do feel like, because I strongly feel like, whether you identify as a woman or that's the feminine aspect of yourself, because if you are a man who, especially we can look at this again in terms of if you've witnessed emasculation from people, showing men in your life showing their vulnerable emotions, or if the men in our life have not been emotionally available as well, and it's a task that, or a skill set that wasn't taught, and then you're coming forward into relationships, and there's also this being emotionally unavailable. If you've grown up in a house where the view of boys and men was, we don't cry, there's no, we don't show emotions, all of this stuff, we don't say I love you, we can laugh it all off, but there's a whole generation or 2 or 3 generations of people who lacked emotionally available parents that were able to actually express that they loved them. And that, when we look at it in the grand scheme of things, that is pretty sad, right? And it is, like I said, difficult to now be this harbinger of love, even though it shouldn't be. It's not hard per se, but it's now we need to take a real clear look on, okay, where am I holding back? Because if you resonate with being emotionally unavailable or being holding back because every time we show our emotions, someone's going to shit on them or someone's going to disregard them. Because again, if we take everything we have and we finally say, here's what I've been going through, here's my emotions, I'm going to lay them out on the table, and this is something that's really hard to do, and so much shit's all over them, or completely disregards them, or there's another word I'm trying to think of. It'll come back. Mocks you, okay? There's, puts them down anyway. This is going to really be difficult even going forward, right? Because these, again, are patterns that are deeply held within us. Whatever's happening this month, or whatever this message could be for now, it could be for something to know. I do strongly feel it's Mercury Retrograde creeping in this time with this Mercury Retrograde. Why is it coming in, and why is it going to affect love lives? Because these are really important relationships in our life, and for us to be able to ascend, we need to be able to, they said, take out the trash, right? And some of this trash is old, outdated thinkings and patterns. So this yoni power is your creative feminine energy. To me as well, this speaks a lot of whether you, again, if masculine, feminine here, being able to be open and receptive with our feelings, to allow them to come, to allow them to go, and again, to express these emotions, to be able to, with this eel, swim on the water. And the same with the swan, with the air, she's still on the water. They're giving me that quote of like being in the world but not of it. This is having the emotions but not allowing them to weigh you down. And when they say this sink or swim energy, I really do feel like there's going to be a lot of stuff here, a lot of emotions, a lot of heavy energy that could make anyone want to sink, could weigh anybody down. But it's this strength within our hearts, this strength within our minds that are going to be the ones that say, no, you swim. No, you never swam before? I'll teach you. Hold your breath and float. Wow. A lot heavier than I felt, and I apologize, but I do think, again, like, it is stuff that's coming out because it's time to heal it. And that's funny that balance has come through here too, with the double snake dragon things up the same tree. This is a few things. This is yin and yang to me. This is the double helix of our DNA. And it definitely is. I feel like, you know, these energies and the thoughts and emotions and the way we want to create, the way we want to move, the way we want to make people feel, the way we want to make ourselves feel, it's all going to be important to bringing things into balance. As well as, there's only 2 major arcanas out here, or 3, sorry. You have 3. You have the Lovers and the Green Woman in balance. That there is a very, very strong energy of the divine feminine, of partnership and in balance, all of these things coming together, and what I heard is culminating. And what they're saying is a lot of this stuff will be culminating by the winter solstice, by the end, so that you are going to be able to move through this darkness. And then once we've moved into solstice, we're going to be able to see over, you know, the end of December into January, even the coming of the light again. So we are entering this age of light. It's going to bring a lot of healing. It's going to maybe bring some pain. There may be some pain that we've seen, or it may just be that we're destroying old patterns because they're no longer helping us, and it is time to nurture the new stuff. With this shamana tradition was underneath, same with the ancestor of boundaries under here. This also, for some of us, we've all been taught that setting boundaries, like, so I want to use in quote, I don't really want to quote this, but the self-love movement, for a lot of older generations, they see this as selfish. But there is nothing selfish about setting boundaries for your own mental health, setting boundaries with people who try to destroy your mental health, setting boundaries with those who, again, with this energy, treat you like crap and steal your joy and put you down for the things that make you happy. There's no shame in that. That is important. That is healthy. And for some of you, again, I feel like it's going to be really important for you to set boundaries so that you can move on into the light. This is part of the wisdom that we've learned. So this could be, like, these are things that's not necessarily just with people. They're giving me examples of, like, things like, okay, they're telling me, like, in relationship, if there's been one or both mental health is an issue, that needing to look at what we can do ourselves to foster and nurture a better relationship. So they're telling me sleep, okay? For some of us, if you've ever been sleep deprived, you know, like, your mood's affected. And there's only so much that you can do before eventually you're crusty, right? And they're saying this is even stuff like for ourselves. And like I said, with the food, right? Setting boundaries on, if I go to bed at 1 or 2 o'clock or midnight and I have to get up at this time, how am I going to feel, right? If I go to bed at this time, how do I feel? Setting boundaries for yourself, like I said, on when I eat certain foods, how does it make my body feel? This is all really important, and they are wanting to, they're coming up with this in balance. It's not just the mind-body connection. While this is important, this is the mind-body, the heart, the soul. This is a very holistic view on coming into light. This is our soul's essence. This is pulling and having our light body stretching, right? For us to be able to do this, we need to be in balance with our body as a whole. Also, they are saying, for some of you with sexuality as well, having this Forest Lovers and this 3 of Vessels in the reverse, like, I do hear as well that this is boundaries on who are we giving this energy to, right? So if we are giving this yoni power, or your, you know, whatever power you have, if we're giving that out to those who don't appreciate us, we're not creating a system within ourselves where we are being empowered. I'm hearing like that whole disempowered, and I also heard the words disenfranchised. So that's what I have. I just hope that it resonated. Sometimes these things get so long, and it took a while for this to really come into the meat of what this was. But just over the next couple weeks, really be aware of what thoughts and images and emotions come to you. Deal with them so that moving forward in this process and coming into this next year, we're a whole lot more healthy version of ourselves, and we're ready to create a world that is much more heavenly. So I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.